like, you know, all the book covers were... Oh, okay, so you don't even know what the book covers look like. So you would recognize them, I feel like, if you saw them. They were super popular, like, late 90s, early to mid 2000s. It will have, like, a kid on the cover, and then there will be, like, 4 other images of the kid, but in each image it's slowly transforming into an animal.
Ew.
So like
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know. I know.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because in the middle, like the middle kid, the one that's like in the middle,
Exactly
yeah,
Halfway.
exactly halfway, is like the most tragic, like pained figure you could see. Like, it's just so weird and bad, like 90s CGI or Photoshop or whatever it is. No, it's so good. It's pretty funny when you look at them, but as a kid I would look at that and be like, well, that's cool.
And you'd get drawn to the middle photo?
I mean, yeah, your eye always goes there because you're like, what's going on here at this point in like this kid's life, like where they're in the halfway point in their morph, but
They're more.
that's what it's called, hence the Animorphs.
Animorphs.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was like, I guess what started this whole thing is like I'm watching this video that's 4 hours long of this guy, he's like 30, giving a lecture to his friends about the series, like just about what the whole thing is.
Wow.
The series is 54 books long, and then there's a bunch of like little spin-offs, or not spin-offs, but like things that kind of go off on tangents and like go into the lore a little bit, so you can learn more about the backstory about certain things and stuff. So there's a lot of material to work through. So I can't believe it that these guys actually went through the whole thing and it took 4 hours, and like it was pretty interesting. But anyways, that guy knows like more about the Animorphs than I do, but I guess it's kind of inspiring, this desire to just like share my love of this book series, because I like loved it when I was a kid. I guess just because like I loved animals and stuff, and that's a big part of it. Obviously.
Did you ever think like if you were an Animorph, what your animal would be?
So you can actually morph into whatever animal you can touch. Yeah, I know. So like I would love to, I always want to be able to change into like a big cat, like a cheetah or like a leopard or something, because they're so like badass, but they're also graceful and like cool, you know? What would you guys do?
This is so interesting. Love it.
Oh gosh, something that could fly maybe, because I want to fly.
Yeah.
Or, you know, be underwater, like, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, underwater for sure.
I think
would be
fly
cool.
is more for me. So like maybe, yeah, like a type of like big bird, like a hawk,
Albatross.
or sure.
Yeah.
That's me.
Really, albatross?
Yeah.
That's what you would choose?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it does. You're not
Seabird.
limited to just one, so that's a cool.
Yeah, I guess I
Oh,
would pick.
you-
Yeah.
Oh, so you can.
Probably go albatross and then maybe like some kind of whale, probably.
Cool.
Mm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But then there's the interesting thing where you have to actually touch the albatross.
Yes.
The whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a
That
long.
brings
Okay.
a challenge.
You don't have to like be touching it for a long time, right?
You only have to touch it for a couple seconds, and the animal actually goes into a state of like tranquility while you're touching them. It's like a nice relaxing thing for them. And that was actually purposefully done when this morphing technology was created. They knew that you would be needing to touch like dangerous animals and things like that. So they embedded that into the technology so that the animal would kind of relax while you're touching them.
Okay, so then
So
what is
you'll-
this technology?
Yeah, so I thought it was like a
Yeah.
superpower.
Right,
that
right.
Only some
Yeah.
people have.
So
Yeah.
I can just get into what is actually
Let's get
going
into
on.
it.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So it all begins with a group of 5 kids. They're coming home from the mall. It's nighttime. They want to take a shortcut. They take a shortcut through an abandoned construction site. Okay. They come across a crashed spaceship. Yeah. Okay. they find beside this crashed spaceship, there's an alien, and he's bleeding out. Okay, so this alien then talks to the kids and is like, "Kids, I'm dying, but you need to know that there is an alien species that is actively invading Earth right now, and I tried to save you, like my people are trying to save the Earth, but I'm clearly dying, and so like you need to now like take over this fight against this invading alien species called the Yeerks." Okay, this is where it gets scary because the Yeerks are pretty like gross. They're disgusting. They're slugs and they're parasitic. They're parasites. So on their own, they're just like a big slug. It's
disgusting.
They don't really okay. So they
Really disgusting.
well, what's worse is, they look gross. They don't really have a lot going for them just as they are. They can't see very well. They can't move very fast. They're just big old slugs, right? So what they do is they can take over a body of another species and ultimately end up controlling its body and just living life through that host body, and they're called controllers. Because essentially, the Yeerk is controlling the body, and the host is trapped inside their own body. They can't do anything about it. They can talk to the Yeerk just in their head, like they can communicate and be like, "Get out of there!" But the Yeerk doesn't care. The Yeerk can read your mind. It knows all of your memories. It knows exactly how you would act in any situation. So there's no way anyone else in your life can tell that you have been taken over by a Yeerk. Okay. Wow. Scary stuff.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's heavy. And what's also worse is the way that it goes into you. It goes in through your ear, and it goes on your brain, okay? And it takes control of your body through that, okay? I know, it's scary. And this is a book for children.
Exactly. I can't believe that it's for children.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird because I'm pretty scared of things. Like, I get scared easily.
Yeah.
When it comes to like horror movies and stuff, like I do not have a high threshold for that.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, it was just like so cool. So we're back at the construction site. This alien has given all this info to this group of kids, and they're like, "What the heck? Like, how are we supposed to fight back against this insidious species of aliens that have like been invading the Earth for a while now without anyone even knowing?" My teacher could be a controller. My mom could be a controller. The president could be a controller. We don't know. We can't go to the authorities or to grown-ups to tell them because they might be controllers and say, "Hey, you know too much," and, take them away, make them
So now they don't trust anyone.
So they can't trust anyone. Now it's up to them to just solve this problem or do whatever they can until this alien guy's friends can get to Earth and help them out. Okay? And so they're like, "But we're just kids." And he's like, "I'm going to give you this technology. And it's the ability to morph into any animal that you can touch. So if you can acquire its DNA by touching it, then you will be able to change into that animal for a maximum of 2 hours. If you stay in the morph for longer than 2 hours, you get trapped as that animal forever. You can't morph. You're just stuck." So they have to like be keeping track of time, like when they morph, so that they don't get stuck.
Okay, what makes the alien think that this technology is going to help them with the mission? It's kind of random.
Is it
Like,
sort of
now
like,
I'm a pigeon.
Okay, so how is that going to help you
Right.
get rid of the controller?
True. Yeah, that is a good question.
Right. Well, you can argue that it's better than just giving the kids a bunch of weapons because the kids don't really know at this point what to do or who to go after.
Well, what was the alien's plan?
So Well, so the alien, himself has the power to morph, right? So, and
Right.
he's got advanced technologies and things, and so they were just actually his spaceship had crashed because they were in like a space warfare like battle,
Right.
And so his ship had been damaged in a fight.
Okay, wait. So sorry.
Mm-hmm.
There's aliens that are invading planet Earth, taking
Yes.
it over. This alien is from that species.
Sorry, no, this alien. I should have explained
I
this.
missed that part.
Yeah, no, I didn't explain it well. So
Different species.
the alien
Different species.
that is like the good kind.
Yeah.
They're called Andalites.
Oh.
Yeah, they look kind of like it's like a centaur. They're blue, and they've got a long tail with a blade at the end, and that's like their best weapon. It can move super fast. They've got on top of their heads, they've got stalks with eyeballs on the top, so they can like see in all directions at once. And yeah, so they're kind of known for just being like smart. They've got the technology, and like the morphing technology and just like good spaceships and stuff like that. And so they're kind of trying to go around the galaxy and stop this Yeerk invasion on all these other like species in the universe. And yeah, so that Andalite was a prince. His name is Prince Elfingor, and he actually ended up being killed at this construction site by Visser III, who is the head Yeerk in charge of the invasion on Earth. Okay? He had been fighting Visser III in space. He was like crashing. Visser III comes down to Earth, doesn't see the kids there. Okay, they're hiding. He morphs into... Okay, sorry. Visser III has the power to morph because Visser III is a Yeerk inside the head of another Andalite.
Oh.
Okay? He's the
Oh my god.
He's the only Yeerk to have ever gained
access
to an Andalite body, because that's like super valuable. So
because they can morph.
they can morph, right? The other Yeerks can't morph. They can't.
They can
Oh.
only be controllers.
They can only be controllers. And they've got controllers of like a human bodies. They've got Hork-Bajir bodies,
Of course.
which are they kind of look like lizards, but if they were standing up on their back feet, and they've got like blades all over their arms and legs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so those are pretty good. Those are like the shock troops, like the soldiers that they use, because they're like pretty dangerous.
Like
even though
Geico.
yeah, like Geico with daggers coming out of his elbows and stuff. Okay,
Yes.
and then
Following.
Following totally.
A military trained Geico lizard, yeah.
yes.
Oh, okay.
And then the other kind of controllers
Blades on this.
Yes.
are the last one is taxons, and they're the grossest ones. They're like giant centipedes, but they have this like unending hunger, and so taxons are not very smart. They're kind of just always focused on just getting food, like whatever they need to do in order to eat. So they kind of volunteered themselves to be taken over by the Yeerks, because the Yeerks said, we'll just give you food. And so they were like, okay. So everyone in the series kind of like looks down, or the kids look down on taxons, because it's like, oh, like you didn't fight back against the Yeerks. You just went along with it because you're dumb and just want food and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So then basically these kids just learn things about the Yeerks through like various missions that they do. They acquire different animals to like infiltrate different bases that the Yeerks have. So, like they, I haven't,
Like on Earth.
they're all on Earth at the beginning, that they go to. So it's like they go to stuff at the bottom of the ocean as sharks, and as giant squids, and as sperm whales. They do stuff in the Arctic as polar bears and wolves and stuff.
And the goal is always to just infiltrate a York HQ.
Yeah, usually they're trying to infiltrate like Yeerk pools. So every 3 days, a Yeerk will need to leave its host body in order to like fill up its like nutrients quota. I think they're called like Kendrona rays or something like that. They exist on their home planet, but they don't exist on Earth. So every 3 days they have to go swim in a pool of this liquid, and that's basically how they eat. So every 3 days, if you're a controller, you like walk yourself down to the Yerk pool, which will be like under a mall or like in your school janitor's closet, where like you go underground and there's a whole like facility down there that no one ever knows about.
Right.
You like put your head into this Yerk pool. It's like this yellowy, gross liquid. The Yerk like goes out, swims around, and you're like, let me out of here, let me out of here. And like they just like take you away and they put you in a cage, and you're like, yeah, let me out. And then eventually,
like the controller or the
person, I guess,
that's
every
being
3
controlled.
days has like
Yes.
has their own body back.
Yes.
For a small amount of time.
Yeah.
but they're trapped.
But yeah, they're trapped. Like they're just being held there against their will. They
Right.
know everything about what's going
Is
on.
that not super fucked up?
Yes, it
There's
is.
so many nightmares.
Yeah.
This sounds awful.
It's really messed up. Yeah, it's like horrific. In the first book, one of the kids gets stuck as a hawk, and he's just a hawk for the rest of the series. I already told you this. In book 3, which I'm on right now because I'm rereading them, this kid, so he just kind of starts losing it a little bit. He's like, can't remember if he's a human or if he's a hawk. And he just starts...
He's a hawk. Now he is.
Well, but that's the question. Like, Animorphs asks the deep questions. Like, are we just what we are on the outside, or are we who we are on the inside?
Oh, right.
Because he's telling himself in the body of a hawk, he's like, no, I am Tobias, I am human. But then the instincts of the animal that you've morphed into are still there. So the hawk is there, and the hawk is always aware of, like, little, like, mice skittering around and stuff like that. And so one day he kind of loses it, and he goes after a rat, and he kills the rat, and he eats the rat.
Right.
Because that's what the hawk wants to do.
So, but before that, he was like a hawk eating like burgers and fries, or
He was, like, the other kids were just, like, giving him little hamburger bits and stuff, and he was, like, sleeping in one of their attics.
Okay.
Like, so they were kind of like, you're human, but you're stuck, like, as a hawk. So, like, we're going to help you. Like, because he wasn't going to live life as a hawk. But that only, like, it only worked for so long, like, this giving him hamburger and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, no, he just, like, kind of lost himself, let the instincts take over. He ate this rat, and it messed him up. He was like, oh, my God, like, I just killed a rat and ate it and, like, liked it. And, like, that totally screws him up. He's like, I can't live like this anymore. And he tries flying, like, into a wall to just, like, he's like, I can't.
Tobias, no.
I know! And this is book 3 of a series for 9-year-olds.
Wow.
and there's 56 books.
Yeah, there's 54.
Oh, 50.
And so...
A little more.
There's 50 more
Wow.
books.
Not quite 56.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's... like, I'm just kind of all over the place with this, like, synopsis, but...
No.
That's, like, essentially, like, the premise. These kids go on missions. They go as the animal that makes the most sense, given where they're going. In order to try to get more info on the Yerks, they try to damage them in little ways that they can. Like, if they can damage a Yerk pool here, if they can expose some of Yerk, like, information here, like, they can take them down bit by bit, maybe.
Right.
Just fight them off just as much as they can until the Andalites can come and, like, help them.
So they're
take
not
care of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now. Because
So
I'm like,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I'm just like, what is the goal? Like, you know, for 54 books, like, is every book them just, like, traveling to a different, like, location as, like, an animal that's suitable to that location, and then, like, either, like, just, like, hurting them in little ways? Is that kind of how each book is set up, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you start to learn more about other alien species that are there that can help them.
Oh my, there's more.
There's so many more. There's the Pemalites, which are, like, this is getting, like, deeper into it, so I won't go in too much, but it's like the Pemalites are kind of like this, like, benevolent species that, like, created these little android things. I forget what they're called, but they're, like, a big deal. And and the androids are like indestructible and like could end like the war like in an instant, but their programming is to be like 100% benevolent, so they can't like fight the Yeerks. It goes against their programming.
Right.
So even though they're super powerful, they're like, we can't do any violence at all. Which is one thing that's so cool about the Animorphs, is that like there's a lot of moral dilemmas that these kids have to go through. It's like, well, in order to like do damage to these Yeerks here, we're actually killing like the host bodies as well, which is like...
What? They're
like,
also killing the host body.
Because, you know, like it's hard to just kill a Yeerk on its own, because most of the time it's in a body.
So then,
wow.
Are these kids just
like
murdering a bunch of people?
Sometimes, yeah. Like, it's like, they've got major...
or whatever.
I mean, yeah.
These kids get major PTSD.
They have to.
They do. Like, they have nightmares and stuff.
And are they still in school?
And they also have, like, math homework.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it the same 5 kids for all 54 books?
It is. They kind of meet an alien on the way. Axe. He's another Andalite, actually, who, spoiler alert, turns out to be Prince Elfingor's little brother.
Oh. Amazing.
Yeah.
Or not good.
And so, no, it's good.
Okay.
It's cool, yeah, he's cool. And then, yeah, they meet a couple of new friends on the way, but it's always those core 5.
And it's not... Is it a secret that they're trying to keep this to themselves, that they can turn into animals and are going on these missions?
They have to. Because if anyone else knew that was a controller, that's, like... They could have immediately killed them. Like, they could just go to their homes, or they could, like, threaten them with anyone that they knew. Like, they could take one of their moms and be like, we have your mom now, so unless if you do what we say, like, we're gonna kill her.
So there's a lot of controllers.
Yeah, like, they don't know exactly how many, but yeah, they're already out there in the world, and they don't know who, like, is one. Yeah, so scary. Yes, Noah.
Okay, so when these kids morph, does their consciousness go into the animal, or does their physical body morph and then that animal still exists on their own and they just like chill and do their own life?
Good question.
So is there now like 2 birds or like 2 pandas?
So yeah, it's like the kid transforms into the animal. So there could be there will be 2 of the exact animal at the same time.
Okay. But one is just in kind of shutdown mode, as you said.
The shutdown mode only happens while they're morphing it, while they're acquiring the DNA.
Oh, just while they're touching it.
Yeah. So
sorry, continue.
So, like, for example, like an occasion where this was a problem was when the kids morphed into a pack of wolves and they were running around the forest, and they actually ran into that pack of wolves.
Oh.
And that was a problem. They had to like go do the whole thing where the alphas had to like assert their dominance, otherwise like they could get attacked by them, and like it was a whole to do.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
In what way should the world be more like Animorphs' world?
Wow. In what? Well, I think one thing that's awesome about the series is that you can tell the author has a deep respect for animals. The way she describes the kids turning into these animals and their experiences, like, or the experiences they have as the animals, like, really make animals seem so cool. It's like, wow, like, this bird can just, like, rise on the thermals and, like, just float, and it's like the most amazing feeling ever to fly. Or like the feeling of being a dolphin is just like pure like ecstasy, and it's so fun, and all they want to do is play, and it's just like it makes like it puts the reader in the head of the animal, and it's like, oh yeah, like this animal totally has a life. And like
Is your phone okay?
I think my phone's okay. Oh, is your ring light broken?
Continue.
That's the end of your video.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I think we've covered enough.
Okay. Wait, is it still filming?
Should I end it?
Hilarious.
Wait, I have one more question. Wait, do I have a question?
Sure.
was the question?
Shoot,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Shoot, we've been doing this for so long. I was like lost in it, but we.
It's amazing.
No, it's so interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you for helping me.
Okay.
But now you have to edit it. It's like 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's hard.
When, like, once they morph into something and then morph back to themselves, do they like keep that ability to morph into that animal, or do they have to touch it every time? Like, if they wanted to morph into an owl,
Yeah.
would they have to touch an owl every time?
No, they just have to touch it once, and then they can turn into the animal as
Okay.
much as they want.
So it's like
Yeah.
acquiring new abilities like constantly.
Yeah. So
That's
it's like
so
by the end, like they had like a full roster of animals that they could turn into at any point.
So it's like Beast Boy from Teen Titans.
I don't know Teen Titans very well.
Okay, one last
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Okay, like the technology, is it like like sticker that they're like sticking on their hand, or is it like transferred into their head?
The
Like
technology.
So
Where is it?
for the technology, so what they had to do in the abandoned construction site was the Prince Elfingor showed them this blue cube, and they just had to touch the blue cube, and they were given the power.
Right.
So, then they just had that ability after that.
Right.
amazing.
Well, it's like a cerebral.
Sounds like a bit of a plot hole.
I'm like thinking about it now. It's like, okay, like that's a little convenient. That just touched this, and now you can do this cool thing.
I was along for the ride for everything else. That's a little far-fetched.
Yeah. The Geico with daggers for arms is believable, but the rest.
I was fine with all
I
that.
like that cube
Cube.
thing. Yeah.
What's the deal with the starfish?
Oh.
Do they all turn?
Rachel, I can't really remember. Rachel turns into a starfish because she lost her earring, like, in a lake. Like, the beginnings of some of these books is usually a chapter or two of, like, fun hijinks. And then it's, like, death and destruction later on. But Rachel dropped her earring in a lake or something like that, so she turned into a starfish so she could find it. But she got chopped in half as a starfish, which you can survive as a starfish when you're chopped in half because they'll just regrow their limbs. So what happened though when Rachel morphed back into human form was two versions of her came back. And there's like a good Rachel and like an evil Rachel. Like all of Rachel's like dark tendencies were like all wrapped up into one person, and then all of her like sensitive side was wrapped up into another person. I can't remember how it resolved. I'll have to
Did she
insert
find
that
the
into
earring?
edit.
That's what I want to know.
Did she find
That
the ring?
is, yeah, that's the question. I don't remember.
This is. The
Jen,
DOP's doing a great job.
thank you so much for helping.
Do you want to sign off?
One of the
Yeah.
covers.
Thank you for watching. This has been the Animorphs like Q&A period. I hope you
Yeah.
found this entertaining.
And that, like, there's
If you
It's the
did at
second
all,
command.
check out the books.
Yeah. When they're, like,
If you have some extra time on your hands and you're
but-
like reading a book for children.
No, other way
Thanks for
around, other
watching.
way
We'll see you in the
around.
next video.
the-
It's like a starfish.